It's been quite a journey. Give yourself time, but start. I think we always wait to start when everything's perfect. You will never get perfect conditions. Um, it's about progress and not perfection. My name is Kass Naidoo. I am the first female cricket commentator in South Africa. I run Africa's leading women's sport platform called G Sport for Girls. When I was 14 years old, in 1992, I heard a woman of color commentate on international men's cricket for the first time. It was an incredible West Indian woman called Donna Simmons. And when I heard her voice, I just felt a sense of unity. I ran into the kitchen and I said to my mom, I know what I'm going to do. I am going to be the first female cricket commentator in South Africa. And I hope that my voice inspires the nation to support the South African cricket team. Of course, everyone wished I hadn't had that dream because it was such a far-fetched dream in such a politically unstable time in our country. I was just so motivated to do it. So I taught myself cricket for over a decade. And as they say, when you are prepared, great opportunities come your way. And I debuted on the 2003 Men's Cricket World Cup for SABC. Now in 2025, I'm celebrating 22 years in the industry on a global stage, having gone through the hard times to get me to where I am. I'm really passionate about South Africa, and I knew that from quite a young age. I was brought up in a largely Indian community in Durban, and everyone was still supporting India in the cricket. And I was the rebel in the family, the one that took the new flag and made people believe in it, sang the anthem and got everyone to believe in South Africa. Got kicked out of family meals because I talked up South Africa over India. So I knew quite early on where my heart belonged. And I think that's really important because if you know where your heart belongs, your passion and your purpose follows that. So nothing in my life is an accident. I often say I'm a good Capricorn. I plan my surprises and I jump out of the cake. But it's really about knowing who you are first up. And I knew very early on that I was a proud South African. I think the early years are always tough for everybody. I knew in 2007 that I'd been in the industry for 4 years and it was just going to be uphill from there. I had really bad skin. And it was in those days of those chat groups where people would go talk about my bad skin and my bad hair and I shouldn't be on TV. And I was just like, I just want to do the cricket. So I did have people come out with mixed views, but I held on to the people that I was changing. I was changing the views of people in rural communities, people in the Eastern Cape, people out in White River, who never felt close to the South African cricket team. So as much as people were picking on me physically and all the tough things they were saying, I knew that if I changed the lives of one person or two people in areas that were largely not touched by the big metros, then I'd done my job. But I think everyone goes through the tough times in the early years. I just wish some people would hold on a little tighter because it does get easier. I think we are meant to have breakthroughs all the time. You break down and you rise up. And that's the thing about a breakthrough is, are you prepared to break down? A lot of people want growth, but growth comes out of a significant amount of pain, whether that is losing a parent, whether that is missing out on a good opportunity, taking 8 years off commentary to have 3 children, breastfeed and stay home and deal with a great sense of FOMO that you're never going to come back. And then coming back and now 10 years later, having done 6 World Cups in the last 3 years for the ICC, it messes with your mind a little bit to realize how great God can be when you yourself believe in yourself. One of the things I knew early on was knowledge was power. And having never played the game and wanting to become the first woman to commentate on international men's cricket for South Africa, I had to do more than the men did. I still do. I always say to them, I work harder than you do because yes, gender has put us on the agenda, but we still have to work harder than you because we haven't played. So I knew early on knowledge was important. I watched a lot of cricket. I practiced in front of the mirror what it was like to hold a mic and commentate. And I just spoke to everyone about cricket. I think I drove everyone crazy. Now, years later, people tell me the stories back about what I sounded like early on and how desperate I was to get my dream together. I'm glad I pushed through. I think there were so many times where I could have thrown the towel in. Um, yeah, now when I look at my children, they're 11, 13, and 16, I think of different incidences throughout their journeys where I thought, I think I've had enough. I'm gonna be at home and, cook and bake and be a mom. I'm glad I didn't. I reflect on it often. It was in 2019. I had celebrated 15 years as a cricket commentator. G Sport is obviously my baby. It's kind of what I want to be and what I want to do. But I said to my husband, I think I've had enough. And I accept that that has been it. And I'm happy to walk away from it. A few days later, I get a DM from the head of cricket at Sky Sport in London. And he said, I've been watching your career and I really admire your work. Would you like to come to London and launch the 100 with us? And I thought, well, God has a really weird sense of humor because just when I accepted it was all over, I got this amazing opportunity. COVID hit, we weren't able to do it in 2020, but 18 years after making my debut on TV, I debuted for Sky Sports in England in 2021. And from there, just crazy things have happened. I joined Super Sport at the end of 2021. I did my first World Cup for ICC in 22, and I just haven't stopped. So the lesson in that, I think sometimes when you just let your dreams go, they come back for you. Had I not become a commentator, G Sport wouldn't have been born. I'd achieved my dream of becoming a commentator. Then I had a radio show on SAFM, a sports show. And it was my responsibility to push the women agenda. So every day I had 5 minutes allocated to a women's sports story. And every story was a terrible story. It was a story of struggle. And I had this big smile on my face because I'd achieved my dreams. I was so happy to tell other stories, but women weren't being supported. So I quit my radio show and I hopped onto Google and I taught myself how to build a website. And I launched the first women's sport newsroom in the country. And the aim of it was to plug the information gap so significantly that it encouraged corporate South Africa to back sportswomen. So we become a big commercial initiative, a big sister in the industry, and an initiative that creates employment and shares skills, largely for Black women in sport, because really, if you look at the country, transformation is about action. It's not about the narrative. It's not about ticking boxes. It's about leading with action. So it's an initiative that has put women's sport on the map, but it's taken a good 19 to 20 years to do that. And it's come with sheer bloody mindedness because women's sport needs more support and it needs someone who's not prepared to say no, and I don't say no. I would say to any young girl, start where you are with what you have. I launched G Sport with 10,000 Rand in 2006. I self-funded it until 2012. And I picked up my first big sponsor in 2012 with SPAR coming on board. The Department of Sport endorsed us in 2015. And we joined the Play Your Part program in 2019. It's been quite a journey. Give yourself time, but start. I think we always wait to start when everything's perfect. You will never get perfect conditions. It's about progress and not perfection. A lot of people are scared to fall. And I have this thing. I have 3 children. I'm married 21 years and I feel like I've walked the journey long enough to know when you fall gracefully. Don't try to balance. You're not a trapeze artist. Look for harmony. And the way you get harmony is be comfortable to fall off the bike, dust off your knees and get back on. And keep doing that until you actually have a smooth ride, but you'll fall off again. Are you comfortable to fail? Because when you are, success finds you. When you're scared of failure, failure finds you. Community is important because without the people, we are nothing as an initiative. G Sport is only as good as the movement it's created, and movement comes from people that believe. Women in sport really do believe in their dreams. They support each other. We're always looking out for each other. We celebrate each other. We scold each other because, there are times when someone's just got to pull you up and say, listen, you actually need to focus a little bit more. Our challenges bring us closer together. And what I like about Brand South Africa's support of G Sport, it's made us a countrywide initiative where all 9 provinces believe that they are part of what we do. A large number of our winners come from around the country, from the Western Cape, from KZN, in the Eastern Cape. So we just glad that the visibility is not just in Gauteng, where it becomes that convenience initiative. Everyone's like, okay, it's in Gauteng. But when you find that the community just enlarges because they all start believing in the power of recognition, then you know you're doing a good job. We're a largely digital initiative on the day-to-day, where at G Sport for Girls is accessible across all social media. We believe in the power of telling stories. If we can tell your story, someone else then picks up the value in sharing your story, and it's a ripple effect. So many people who've never shared their stories, and it's such a powerful thing to be able to verbalize, as I am doing now, what our journeys are about. So get involved in the movement, start making friends in the industry. I think that's one of the things is, as women in particular, we're just busy, aren't we? Multitasking, doing a whole lot of things, but start making friends in the industry. G Sport's a great family. I get a lot of dads and moms writing to me saying, my daughter's 15, she's a netball player, she just needs to get involved. Can you tell her story? And when we do, it's shared widely on WhatsApp, because that's kind of where it's at. Like, all the families get the messages. Facebook is a big driver for us from that perspective. Don't be a loner in the industry, because no man's an island, no woman's an island. And when you join G Sport, you find a very boisterous bunch of women wanting to be behind you. There's a reason we are given platforms, and the platform is to grow and to share. I think enjoying success on your own is ego. Enjoying success together is power. And I like celebrating people's successes. When they're going through tough times, I like phoning them more. I think when people are going through tough times, people rather stay away from them. It's in those moments that great seeds of success are sown. So when I became a commentator, I didn't think I would achieve my dream, to be honest. And once I did, I was like, I'm going to make sure every woman that is around me will become something great. And if I can't help you, I'll connect you. And that's why I like G Sport. It's the great hookup of the industry. We skill women up, we create employment. And what COVID taught me is there's so many women around the country doing great things. And it's not about always hiring the big agencies. It's about putting money directly into the pockets of women in sport. And so since 2020, every award season, at least R500,000 is put directly into the pockets of women in sport, so they can send their children to school, pay medical aid, and really be small business owners even. So it's an organically grown initiative. If you asked me in 2006, is this what you had in mind? I'd say I didn't know what I had in mind. But all I knew is every summit we reached, I was at the bottom of another mountain. I like that. I'm a mountain climber. I love mountains. And I like when it's hard, because pressure gives me an incredible sense of calm. Oh, sport is a great unifier, because it allows us, color aside, gender aside, religious beliefs aside, to believe in one common cause. And that's why I love the national anthem. Every World Cup I'm at it, even though we've all got to be neutral commentators, when South Africa's out there in a final in Barbados and you hear that anthem, you know the whole country is behind South Africa. That's why I love sports so much. I feel like when we all are together, and if we can just bottle that energy and remind each other on those great days, this is how we feel, and consistently start putting that through our days. Because it's easy to pick on the challenges we have. I tell you, everywhere I go around the world, I come home and I know that I'm back where I belong. Went to Malaysia recently. I got home and I walked through immigration, and I came to passport control, and there was just someone with a big smile on their face. You don't get that around the world. I love South Africa so much because apartheid really made things really hard for us, and I don't think any of us thought we would come out of it. And so when we were coming out of it, and my dream was born to be a commentator, I thought, this feels like a perfect match, because we've all got to do something about it. Interestingly enough, my dream was born in 92 to be a commentator. In 94, I was a volunteer at the general elections because I couldn't vote and I was too young. But I worked as a volunteer at the general elections, and that really inspired me. I saw people come out in numbers to vote. I was there when they were stamping these forms. We were counting them. I was 16 years old. And so already those seeds were sown that when I achieved my dream in 2003 and I went live on TV for the first time, I knew that I had millions of South Africans wanting me to do well for the good of the country. So I don't know, I'm obsessed with South Africa. I tell everyone around the world. A lot of people say, are you from India? Or are you from Mauritius? And I go, I'm a proud African. And also got to thank all the various people that brought us across the line in those early days, because the 90s were challenging for everybody. And there are many people that have done great things in the country, which is why I love the Play Your Part initiative so much, is we celebrate people from different industries that are holding this country together. My advice to young entrepreneurs is embrace the journey. The first 3 years are your internship. The first 10 years, you set yourself up. By 15 years, you call the shots. And by 22 years, like me, you get up every morning, and if there's no butterflies flying in formation, then you know it's time to go. And if you're still excited and you're still nervous, as I always get ahead of a big tournament, then you know you're still in the game. But value yourself, because unless you value yourself, nobody else will value you. People treat you how you feel about yourself. And I often set my energy at home before I leave to a stadium. I set my energy at home before I leave to an event, because how I arrive is how you receive me, is how I appreciate you, and in the end, just great things happen from there. So value yourself and share your story, because there's so much inner child work that we do as we grow older as women. I'm 47 years old, so I'd say to her, we're still at it. I have 3 children that play cricket, so the legacy continues from a sporting perspective. But I'd also say that, we've got to be kinder to ourselves. And I think we're so hard on ourselves as women. I've never met a woman who is satisfied with her life because she's always chasing something else. Probably first up, I would hug my younger self, because I've come a long way.